Hello, good evening and welcome to News 360 live from our studio here at Adesanwe Kanda in Accra. I am Martin Esiedudate.
And I'm Aisha Yakubu Hadi. Let's bring you the headlines for this evening.
News 360 headlines is brought to you by
Flamingo Paint,
Pepsodent Charcoal and Pepsodent Herbal,
EcoBank.
Alexander Penyomarkin, minority leader, faces criticism from majority side for failing to secure Ken Ofori-Attah's return to answer to issues bordering on accountability.
Also coming up, President John Mahama urges coastal fishing communities to avoid illegal practices during closed season, announces new naval vessels to strengthen the monitoring.
IGP Special Operations Team seizes firearm, arrests 19 suspects in Tamale, targeting gangs and drug peddlers, fueling regional insecurity.
And later in business, ahead of the 127th Monetary Policy Committee meeting on Monday, November 24, the Ghana National Chamber of Commerce and Industry makes case for further policy rate cut to at least 15%.
On the international front, an unknown number of pupils abducted by armed men from a Catholic school in central Nigeria, the second mass school kidnapping this week. While live on TV3 Ghana on Facebook, all across the world on 3news.com. Stay with us and share your thoughts and comments with us.
We're starting from Parliament. The minority leader, Alexander Penyomarkin, has been accused of failing to deliver his promise to ensure the return of former Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Attah to face prosecution over the infamous GRASML contract, the National Cathedral project, and other initiatives under the erstwhile administration which have been flagged for impropriety. The minority and majority leaders on the floor of Parliament on Friday debated the delayed return of Ken Ofori-Attah to the country to face accountability. It follows a request by the local government minister Ahmed Ibrahim who sought answers from the minority leader on the whereabouts of the former finance minister.
To solicit an answer from an honorable minority leader. He gave us authoritative information that by February 18th, the honorable former finance minister was going to be in Ghana. So I'm saying, where is the former finance minister? I thought you were going to tell us his whereabouts. Ministers of finance who have occupied that office after their tenure, they remain in this country. Where is our former finance minister? Where is he?
The records would bear me out that indeed, when the respected former finance minister had issue with the OSP, which mattered the majority leader himself, came to apologize. He used the dispatch box to apologize on behalf of government for the mishandling of the whole matter. We as leaders owed a responsibility and a duty in the matter. I, right here, indicated that Mr. Ken Ofori-Attah had written to the OSP through his lawyers that he was going to be in the country on or before May, not July. This was in February. Mr. Speaker, in the letter, Mr. Ken Ofori-Attah again indicated that he had been booked for surgery. When the time came and his doctors further advised that the surgery will require some healing process, Mr. Speaker, he again wrote, this time not only a letter by his lawyers, the letter from his doctors. It is not a matter of I resigning or making a promise and failing to honor that. Let's put things in proper context. All I want Honorable Ahmed Ibrahim to understand is that when it comes to ill health, our medicals, all of us, all of us, may go through it one way or the other. If a man is going through a serious medical condition, how many of us will be bold to disclose our medical records? But the man has disclosed his medical record. Mr. Speaker, that hospital where he is receiving treatment is a renowned medical hospital in the United States. Let's be fair to Ken Ofori-Atta. Let's be fair. It can be you tomorrow.
Giving an impression that members on this side are insensitive to the medical condition of Ken Ofori-Atta. That is the impression you have sought to give. Mr. Speaker, Ken Ofori-Atta was very sick in this country. You could see the sickness in his face. But at that time, it was sweet to be a finance minister. It was sweet to be a finance minister. In spite of the ill health, he persisted and insisted on remaining in this country as a finance minister. How come that suddenly, because today he is being sought after by the law enforcement agencies, he cannot live in this country and is claiming illness? He was sick when he was finance minister. We all saw it. He was sick. Honorable.
Right, so that's what ensued in Parliament. So clearly, our finance minister, the former finance minister, can't be found, or at least there is an assumption of where he is at the moment. Some say he's in the United States, confirmed by his lawyers. But our conversation this evening with private legal practitioner Martin Kpebu is focusing on what the Office of the Special Prosecutor has said, which is that on Monday, he is taking Ken Ofori-Atta and 6 others to the court because he has slapped some 78 charges or leveling some 78 charges against them. Now that we don't know where he is or can't find him and serve him, what happens to the case? Is that even possible? Mr. Martin Kpebu, good evening. Thank you for joining us on News 360. Thank you again. Kindly unmute for us. But while at that, my first question will be, where do you stand on this debate? Much earlier, you were even saying that if Ken is not willing to come, the OSP could initiate processes to maybe start the trial in absentia. Give us some education on that. Could he still go ahead from Monday to start the trial in absentia?
Okay, can you hear me?
Loud and clear, yes.
Okay. No, he can't start like that. Under the law, Article 19, Clause 3A, he has to present evidence to the court to show that he has notified Ken Ofori-Atta about the trial. So the notification is very important. So maybe evidence of DHL delivery or FedEx, any other email, all the various ways of proving that the Ken Ofori-Atta has been notified about the trial. That is what Article 19, Clause 3A of our Constitution requires. But then, before maybe you go elsewhere and I don't get to mention, you see, my main point is that Kissi Ejabi has to leave because he allowed Ken Ofori-Atta to travel. All of this is on Kissi Ejabi's head. This absentia, trial and absentia, etc. Okay, yeah, let's continue.
Right. Yeah, so still on that tangent, you are saying that although he's already gone to court or says that he's going to hold them before court, the trial of Ken Ofori-Atta specifically can only commence if he, Ken, is served with a right to appear before the court. That's what you're saying? Absolutely,
yes. That's what our Constitution requires.
Right.
That the trial, to paraphrase the Constitution, Article 19, Clause 3A, says the trial of an accused person can take place in his absence if it is proven that he was notified about the trial, notified, with all emphasis on notified about the trial, and he fails to attend. So once you give the court credible evidence of notification, credible, and this one, because it's a criminal trial, the judge would ask for the most cogent, most, reliable, extremely reliable evidence that Ken Ofori-Atta has been said. So then, you see why now we should be blaming Kissi Ejabi once again, unless, of course, he's done it on our blind side.
Right.
Ofori-Atta offered to engage the OSP via Zoom. That's virtual, not just Zoom. Zoom is one of the virtual ways of communicating. Virtually. We should have taken it. So if we have done these interviews, Oforiatta, where is this? Then he answers everything that can be done virtually. Can you imagine that this would have boosted the reliability of any form of communication? So then you do some via email. Okay. So if you send the charges to him, that's a charge sheet and a fact sheet to him via email, the judge will accept because he can show that, oh, I've been communicating with Oforiatta through email. Okay. And then if you did post, you ask him for his this mailing address. Then you send it. Because now I'm wondering, but well, we'll hold our horses. If eventually Kisi Ejabe listen to our advice and engage Oforiatta quietly, we'll find out on Monday.
On Monday, yeah, certainly.
Because
certainly
he will
following,
have to inform the court how he served Oforiatta.
Right, and following his correspondence he's had with him in the early days, it's likely he may have, like you're saying, we'll find out on Monday. And briefly, the remaining 6, can they be tried because they are in the same boat with Ken Oforiatta when it comes to the SML GRA deal, which the OSP is taking to court? So if Ken is absent, the remaining 6, can the trial go ahead with them?
Yes, but let's say this. When I say yes, it means very limited. The part of the trial that can go ahead on Monday, even if Oforiatta has not been served, is the matter of taking the plea. That's the one that they will ask the accused, are you guilty or not guilty? That's after reading the charges. Then the accused will say guilty or not guilty. So the judge can decide to take the pleas of those who appear on Monday. And then, in case there's no evidence that Oforiatta has been served, then the judge will adjourn that one for another day. But in terms of the trial itself, like when I say the trial itself, the one they will enter the box and talk, the one you hear, you and I were not there, those things, that one, the judge will do all of it together. He will not do the one for Crensil and Co separate and then come back and do Oforiatta's one different. No. No.
Thank you. Thank you, Counsel, for your time. Martin Pebu is a private legal practitioner, and in the coming days, we'll certainly be hearing more of how all of this plays out.
Meanwhile, lead sponsor of the Human Sexual Rights and Family Values Bill, John Ntimfodjo, has demanded the laying of the anti-LGBTQ bill next week, expressing disappointment about the posturing of the majority. A request for weekly updates on the Galamsey fight and the purchase of new aircraft dominated the debate on the 2026 budget.
The issue of the purchase of new aircraft as part of the retooling of the Ghana Air Force yet again took center stage of the debate on the 2026 budget.
They want to blow several billions of cedis, 3.6 billion cedis in the budget on luxury aircraft. 2 luxury jets, in addition to the so-called pristine Falcon, all for the luxury and transportation of the president and the executive. Couldn't one have been enough? There is not a single allocation to acquisition of fighter jets. So now, any aircraft can get into potentially our airspace, and the might expected of our Air Force to confront such unauthorized flights that has been jettisoned.
President Akufo-Addo ordered that we procure 6 fighter jets for the Air Force. This House supported the deal. But where are the jets? Where are the jets? How did the deal end? That deal did not go through because of the reckless management of this country's economy. If we are saying that we would acquire 2 transport aircraft for the Ghana Air Force, it is because it is a requirement of the Air Force itself, and the ranking member knows this. It is not just about the presidential jet, Mr. Speaker. Did President Kufuor not procure the Dassault Falcon 300? When President Kufuor acquired it, did he ever sit in that jet as president for 1 day? No. I ask you the question. Did he ever sit in it for 1 single day? He did not.
Proponent of the Human Sexual Rights and Family Values Bill, John Ntimfodjo, yet again raised what he calls his disappointment over what he foresees to be a deliberate attempt to delay the laying of the anti-LGBTQ bill before the House for consideration and passage.
There seems to be a very, very conspicuous silence on this. Mr. Speaker, the House must not create the impression that what was a priority in the 8th Parliament has suddenly been thrown under the carpet. The attempt by this government, by blocking this bill and blocking it from being featured, is a big disappointment to the people of this country. We demand that if it was oversight or error, it must be added to the order paper so that next week it is laid and presented for first reading, because on record, it has satisfied all the processes by the dictates of our standing orders.
It's not an attempt by government, and President John Dramani Mahama has indicated time and again that any moment that the bill is brought before him, he will expeditiously sign it. Even though in the 8th Parliament, I really didn't see you actively involved in having this bill passed. I know you were a sponsor of the bill. All of a sudden, you think that this is an urgent matter. And also, when we were all putting pressure on President Akufo-Addo to sign, I didn't see you helping us to put pressure on President Akufo-Addo. I didn't see you. Now you have found your voice.
A number of demands were made from the minority side, including the request that the Lands Minister be made to brief the House once every week on the fight against illegal mining. Christian Yale, TV3 News, Parliament.
We're staying in Parliament because the 2026 budget debate continued, and we're now going to hear from the Member of Parliament for Kaikwe Central, Patrick Boama, who had issues with the time that the budget was presented by the Finance Minister, Dr. Kesel Ato-Forson.
For the first time in many years, the budget of this country was read around 5:37 p.m. It's very important to make that point, Mr. Speaker. Not during Kwesi Botche's time, not during Kwame Pepra's time, Safu Mafo's time, Barry Edu's time, up to Ato-Forson first. Mr. Speaker, there's a reason why your budgets must be read during prime time. When our budget was read at 5:37 p.m. this year, our major creditors were all asleep. Some of them were just waking up. The Chinese were asleep. The Australians were just waking up. Our European partners were at dinner. Ghanaians were rushing home to go and sleep after work. It tells you and gives you the reason why the markets did not respond positively to our budget this year. Mr. Speaker, if you look at the cover page of this year's budget, you can see a clear Photoshop of a certain express road that the minister spoke about, that he was going to construct an express road to Kumasi. Mr. Speaker, what is the crime of the people of this country, especially those of us who ply that road to our villages, especially from Accra to Paga and to Boko? For 8 years, from 2009 to 2016, not a single kilometer of road was added by the NDC government. Yes. You come into government again, and instead of you prioritizing with the completion of the dualization of the Accra-Kumasi road, you are telling us that you are going to construct an express road. From which funds? It's a complete misplaced priority. What Ghanaians want to see is the completion of the dualization project that was started by the Akufo-Addo administration. Yes. Then you can even look at that, because even the financial models do not help you. How are you going to construct this? Through a PPP arrangement? And how much are you going to charge road users? It's for you to take that decision. But Mr. Speaker, let me share this data with you.
Away from that note, in Parliament, President John Dramani Mahama has urged coastal fishing communities to avoid illegal practices during the upcoming closed season, even though artisanal fishers remain exempt from the ban. Speaking at the National Fisheries Day celebration here in Accra, he indicated that new naval vessels are being procured to strengthen coastal monitoring to help ensure compliance across Ghana's territorial waters.
Exemption from closed season fishing. As you are aware, artisanal fishers have been exempted from the closed season. So I encourage you to reciprocate by not doing anything illegal during the closed season. We're also in the process of acquiring 2 new offshore patrol vessels for the Ghana Navy to be able to patrol our shores. And then finally, in this year's budget 2026, money has been allocated for the establishment of 2 fish markets, one in Dambai in the Oti region and the other in Shama district. I've noted your request for a fish market in Accra, and I wish to say that it will receive favorable consideration.
Let's take you to the northern part of the country. The IGP's Special Operations Team has seized a firearm and arrested 19 suspects in an intelligence-led swoop in the Tamale metropolis. The operation targeted criminal gangs and drug peddlers whose activities fuel violent attacks and contribute to rising insecurity in the region.
The growing activities of criminal gangs, together with the widespread trade and use of illicit drugs in Tamale and its surrounding communities, have heightened insecurity in the region, contributing to a rise in armed robbery incidents. Following a petition to the Inspector General of Police, the Special Operations Team was deployed to support the Northern Regional Police Command in addressing the escalating security concerns. On Thursday, November 20, 2025, the team embarked on its second intelligence-led swoop, targeting the retrieval of firearms, the destruction of criminal hideouts, and the disruption of illicit drug cartels within the metropolis.
The criminal network, in as far as they are ready for them, they are also revising their nose to reposition themselves well. And with our intelligence, no matter how they reposition themselves, we'll be able to make sure that we meet them squarely. So as we are going out for night patrols and other related surveillance duties, we have to make sure that we all get ourselves alert.
Areas like the Abu Abu Market, Lamashegu Inner Market, Kapohini, and the Tamale Main Market were among the places raided.
Oh, this is the gun that you say you use to kill her. They take the gun. This old man, he nearly killed us.
A locally manufactured single-barrel gun concealed in a sack was seized from an elderly man during the operation. He later produced a rubber container holding 13 cartridges after intense persuasion from the police.
Open it.
Police indicate that the suspect had no lawful authority to possess the firearm. During the operation, a middle-aged man approached the officers with a fresh knife stab wound, reporting that he had been attacked by 2 men in his neighborhood. Acting on the information, the police pursued the suspects, arresting one, while the other escaped narrowly. The team extended its operation to other ghettos within the metropolis, where several suspects were rounded up based on intelligence. Quantities of dried leaves suspected to be marijuana were retrieved from the individuals. Additionally, motorbikes, mobile phones, and electronic devices believed to have been stolen were recovered. All exhibits have since been secured, while the suspects are in the police custody for further investigations. The IGP Special Operations Team reaffirmed its commitment to protecting lives and property.
In some other news this evening, IPMC College of Technology has graduated a new batch of students trained in various fields of professional development. The ceremony brought together families, industry leaders, and education stakeholders.
It was a day of pride and celebration at the IPMC College of Technology as hundreds of students received their certificates after months and in some cases years of rigorous training in information technology, software engineering, networking, graphic design and business programs. The 2025 graduating class was charged to be innovative, ethical and solution-driven as they step into Ghana's growing digital economy. Country Director of IPMC, Gwaram Shada, shed more light about the school.
It's been 33 years in Ghana. We are facilitating ICT education across the country. We have 15 campuses in different regions of Ghana, and we have trained more than 2 million students in ICT.
Some graduates expressed their excitement and hopes for the future.
One unique thing about IPMC is no matter where you find yourself, they have a community that would help you, put you back together, pick you back up, so you keep moving.
I wasn't expecting IPMC to be like this exciting. Most school is, the only thing they do is teaching, but though they are teaching, practical is involved, everything. They'll make sure that you understand things.
With the increasing relevance of digital skills, today's ceremony is more than just a celebration. It represents a major step towards shaping the country's future workforce.
The Methodist University Ghana has officially inducted Professor William Boateng as its new Vice-Chancellor. The ceremony brought together church leaders, academics and members of the university community, reaffirming the institution's commitment to faith-driven education and academic excellence.
The Methodist University Ghana, MUG, is a faith-based private university established by the Methodist Church Ghana in 2000. It has grown into one of the church's most important educational institutions. An investiture held to induct Professor William Boateng as Vice-Chancellor marked a significant milestone. The Chancellor of the university led the proceeding, describing the investiture as a moment to reaffirm the university's vision.
By the powers vested in me as Chancellor of the Methodist University Ghana, I now have the singular honor and pleasure to declare the Assembly duly constituted.
The chairperson of the University Council, Her Ladyship Justice Professor Henrietta J.A.N. Mensah-Bonsu, pointed to the responsibilities that come with Vice-Chancellor's office.
As head of the university, the Vice-Chancellor becomes the face and symbol of the institution, as well as its Chief Public Relations Officer.
The high point was a formal induction of Professor William Boateng. In his address, Professor Boateng outlined his priorities for the university.
As a private institution of higher learning, this Silver Jubilee year opens a new chapter, a new aspiration, a new vision, and a new way of doing things. With me as the leader of the institution, MUG should aspire to become the preferred private tertiary institution in Ghana and West Africa. Over the next 25 years, MUG should move towards STEM education, and I dare say STEMI, science, technology, engineering, mathematics, and innovation.
Also, leaders, entrepreneurs, and experts gathered at the True Life Experience Summit 2025 here in Accra, united by a mission to inspire personal growth and mindset change that unlocks hidden potential. The summit focused on harnessing the power of mindset as a tool for transformation and sustainable development.
Two-day summit featured speakers who encouraged participants to see themselves as capable of overcoming any challenges. Entrepreneur Kia Parks advised that courage becomes easier with confidence.
Some of us are afraid to dream. How many of you have stopped dreaming because you don't think that it's possible? Our job is to stand up every day, to move with intention, to trust God, and to know that it is always going to work out exactly as we see it or something better.
Business leader Ibokun Awosika spoke about stereotypes.
Stereotypes have emerged from people's experiences. In wanting to learn from people, be careful about stereotypes. Be responsible for your own decisions, because at the end of the day, your life is the result of the decisions that you make every day. There's a lot of cultural shift that needs to take place in how we think and in how we approach things.
Convener of the True Life Experience, Dedo Kofi, explained the purpose of organizing the summit.
The idea is to continue to impact people so they can be better. People who have been looking at themselves as undeserving will begin to understand the power that they hold, and they will begin to step into spaces that they can actually work in. So people are going to leave here wanting more for themselves, doing more with their lives, and also giving back.
The True Life Experience Summit 2025 seeks to inspire, empower, and transform minds.
Stay with us here on News 360. Let's bring you some business news coming up next.
the policy rate from the current 21.5% to 15%. The chamber argues that such a cut would more than accurately reflect the country's current macroeconomic improvements. The policy rate began the year at 27%, but the Bank of Ghana raised it to 28% in March, citing persistent inflationary pressures. It later delivered two major cuts, reducing the rate to 25% in June and then to 21.5% in September, as inflation continued to ease and the broader economy showed signs of recovery. Despite these adjustments, the Ghana National Chamber of Commerce and Industry insists the current rate remains too high for businesses.
For policy rate, I've had issues with it. If you have inflation of 8% now, and the policy rate is 21.5. It means there is a misalignment somewhere.
The chamber says it expects the central bank to cut the policy rate by a further 650 basis points at the upcoming meeting.
I'm expecting that in the next MPC meeting, the policy rate should come as low as 15%. The banks will also follow suit and also reduce their lending rate, because all the indicators that they use in computing the policy, they are all trending downwards. We have seen stability in the foreign exchange market. We've seen inflation trending significantly down. I don't see the reason why policy rate should still be at 21.5.
The Bank of Ghana is intensifying efforts to reduce the high cost of printing new banknotes by encouraging the public to properly handle the cedi. Against this backdrop, governors and some staff of the Apex Bank visited markets to sensitize traders.
As part of activities marking the cedi at 60 celebrations, Governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Johnson Isiama, First Deputy Governor, Dr. Zakari Mumuni, and officials from the bank visited the Makola market in Accra to educate traders on proper currency handling to keep notes clean and durable. In a discussion with the leadership of the Greater Accra Markets Association, the governor asked whether ongoing macroeconomic stability was reflecting in market prices. The president of the association confirmed noticeable improvements and urged authorities to sustain the progress to enhance livelihoods.
Some goods have taken stand, for example, rice, oils, and they are now okay, but we wish they will use them more. As it is coming to the Xmas, that is exactly what we will use. And people will be bringing in their new goods with the new lower dollar.
Head of the Currency Management Department, Dominic Owusu, highlighted the huge cost of printing new notes to replace worn-out ones and appealed to the public to protect the currency by keeping it clean and avoiding practices that damage the notes.
Anytime we want to give money out as a gift, we always crumple it and squeeze it in our hands. Anytime you speed the money, know that you are destroying it for foreign money to be used to print a new one. So let me say that stop crumpling the money.
The central bank says the Clean Notes campaign will be expanded nationwide as Ghana celebrates 6 years of its national currency.
Absa Bank Ghana, in partnership with the MasterCard Foundation, has hosted a youth entrepreneurship dialogue at the University of Professional Studies, Accra. The forum brought together young innovators to spark bold ideas, showcase youth-led businesses, and tackle real-world business challenges.
The dialogue is part of Absa Bank's Young Africa Works program with the MasterCard Foundation, which funds, trains and mentors young entrepreneurs while tackling challenges like limited financing and high interest rates. With a focus on sectors like fintech and agri-tech, this partnership supports more than 5,000 youth-led businesses. The dialogue provides an avenue for fresh ideas and connects young talent to key industry and financial players. Nana Esilfua Tamaklu is the Director of Marketing and Corporate Affairs, Absa Bank Ghana.
We have a program, it's a flagship program we call Ready to Work. It actually prepares the young persons from the academia into the world of work. This year alone, through our webinars and the school's activations, we have reached 1.7 million young persons. And then also we have actually taken financial literacy across 9 regions in Ghana.
For MasterCard Foundation, the theme for the dialogue, Dream, Build, Thrive, the future is young, serves as a reminder that Ghana's future depends on young people.
The MasterCard Foundation remains committed to working with APSA and all partners represented here today to strengthen Ghana's entrepreneurship ecosystem together.
The dialogue also had an interactive panel discussion where youth entrepreneurship advocates deliberated on how to create a thriving business ecosystem for the youth to build on their entrepreneurial ideas.
And that'll be all for the business segment here on News 360. I am Michael Obodu. We'll bring you updates now from the currency and the commodities market.
here on News 360. My name is Bill Ishen. Now let's start off from the Ghana Premier League, where matchday 11 comes your way this weekend. League leaders Midiama will be in action against Bechem United at the TNA Park on Saturday. Ahead of the tie, Midiama head coach Ibrahim Tanko says only a win will do for his side.
This game? No, I think we are playing home like any other game. When we go in, we want to control the game. We want to score goals. So definitely we are determined to do that. And it's not going to be easy. The team is a very good team. They have a new coach now. I think the players are motivated, but I think in playing home with our confidence, our supporters behind us, I hope that we'll take the 3 points. I said it, and Mediama is playing the league to win it. So definitely, if you want to win the league, you have to win your special home matches, and I'm sure the boys are ready to do it.
To our next story, the Minister of Sports and Recreation, Honorable Kofi Adams, visited the Secondary Sports Stadium to inspect the renovation works being done and check the progress made so far. Together with the Director General of the National Sports Authority, Yawan Pofuankra, they toured the stadium from the stands to the washrooms and dressing rooms. My colleague Francis Hema was there to monitor the inspection and file this report.
So the Minister of Sports and Recreation, Honorable Kofi Idi Adams, have visited the Secondary Sports Stadium here in Esipun on Friday morning to inspect and then see the progress of work as far as the renovation of the facility is concerned. Since 2019, the venue has been closed down for renovation works, and it was divided into phases according to the contractor. Phase 1, Phase 2, which included fixing of the roofing. It has been done. Fixing of the washing, which after the inspection by the sector minister, that has also been fixed. There are other works that needs to be done under Phase 1 and Phase 2, which include the dressing room and then other areas. But according to the sports minister, he's not really enthused by the progress of work.
Work that has been done by the contractor, I would say, well, I am a bit okay with what I have seen. The roofing, the trashes that were worked on, the scoreboard, the way it's been done, the washrooms, the way I've seen it, I'm happy with it. But then the progress, the time, we have spent too long a time on this project. That I am sure will be because of funding, cash flow issues. And that's why we've spent so long a time. And I'm not happy that, because the thing about sporting facility is that you hardly can you use it meaningfully when it's not completed. It has to be completed to be able to use it meaningfully. So if you do the roofing and you do the washrooms and you don't work on the pitch, you can't come and play any FIFA sanctioned football games here.
The contractor also explained to us the various phases of works that needs to be done.
Phase 2, no, a part of the roofing, the part of the sandblasting, and then clean the trusses so that it doesn't rust. I know a part of Phase 2, but not see we are not. Yeah, we are not in a roof letting abason. Now, yeah, washrooms, no. So you know, but yeah, washrooms, no. And I see it, yeah, scoreboard, no. Yeah, change scoreboard, no.
Activities are already ongoing at the Esipun Sports Stadium with a 32nd Interregional Senior High School Sports Festival ongoing. But then there is still more that needs to be done according to the sports minister. From the Secondary Sports Stadium, Francis Hema reporting for 3 Sports.
That's all for the sports segment here on News 360. My name is Bill Ishen. There's more on the bulletin after the break.
News segment is brought to you by GTP Lifestyle and Napa Foods, Heaven Black Insecticide Spray and Coil, powered by 3 Entertainment.
Good evening and welcome to the Entertainment News segment here on News 360. My name is Noella Donko. Now, reigning GMB Queen Etonam and her team are set for a homecoming event this weekend. For the affable Queen, the event serves as an opportunity officially to express her gratitude to the people of her region for their immense support throughout her journey to success.
Reigning Ghana's most beautiful queen, Etonam, is still basking in the excitement and pride that came with her remarkable victory in this year's competition. And this weekend, all roads lead to the Volta region as the Queen and her team prepare for a grand homecoming celebration. The event scheduled for this Saturday is expected to draw traditional leaders, youth groups, cultural associations, and enthusiastic supporters from across the region. For Queen Etonam, the homecoming is more than just a celebration. It's a moment of gratitude, a chance to officially say thank you to the people who stood firmly behind her throughout the competition. The affable Queen says she cannot wait to present her enviable crown to the people of her region, a symbolic gesture acknowledging their unwavering support, heartfelt prayers, and the countless votes that powered her journey to victory.
So for me, this homecoming means a lot because my people have given a lot to me during the competition. They voted, they prayed for me, they came to the studio to support me massively. They put in their all, just as I did as well. And so it means a lot to me to go back and give back to the community and say thank you to them for their incredible support. And it also means a lot to them as well because they cannot wait to see me. They've been calling on me to come all these weeks that I've been crowned Ghana's most beautiful. I feel privileged going back to them and giving them the crown or showing them the crown and the card.
The affable Queen says she cannot wait to present her enviable crown to the people of her region, a symbolic gesture acknowledging their unwavering support, heartfelt prayers, and the countless votes that powered her journey to victory.
I want to use this opportunity to invite you to my homecoming Deba, which is the 22nd of this month. Saturday actually at Volta region, Mafi, at the Dome to be precise. I'm calling on all of you to come, support me, and let's make this great. It's 11 a.m. at the Old District Assembly of Mafi at the Dome.
As preparations heighten and expectations grow, the Volta region is gearing up to welcome home its beloved daughter, now a national beauty icon, in grand style.
Well, that's it for the Entertainment News segment here on News 360. My name is Noella Donko. Let's now bring you some international news from Nigeria.
An unknown number of people have been abducted by armed men from a Catholic school in central Nigeria, the second mass school kidnapping this week. The latest attack targeted St. Mary's School in Papiri, Niger State, where authorities had already ordered the temporary closure of all boarding schools due to rising security threats. Police said armed men locally known as bandits stormed St. Mary's School on Friday at about 2 o'clock local time and abducted an unconfirmed number of students from their hostel. Details remain unclear, but residents fear that close to 100 students and staff may have been taken away during the early morning raid.
And that's how we bring the bulletin to an end. Thank you so much for watching. I am Martin Esiedu Date.
And I'm Aisha Yakubu Hali. Showbiz 360 is up next. Enjoy.